Okay, good morning, all of you, once again. We are going to talk about next sci-fi, science fiction, Millennium, right? It's a short story. Can you guess anything from the title? Millennium. What could be the issue, the plot, or the message that the story writer wants to convey? Can you guess? के होला यसको के भन्न खोज्यो होला भनेर Have you heard the similar word, right? Like millennium. You might have heard millennium.
Millennium सुने also.
Millennium सुनेको छ and it's similar to this. We'll come to this point. So, as I said earlier also, science fictions are, sci-fi are hypothetical. Hypothetical means based on imagination. Can be reality or cannot be. And commonly, next picture of sci-fi is prediction. What could happen in the near future? What could happen in the near future? Not right now. So generally, it works. Science fiction works as a forecaster. So it's a short story by British writer J.G. Ballard, first published in January 1962. Edition of Amazing Story, volume 36, number 1, and in the Millennium collection. And later also it was republished. The last bullet, it says, with a dystopian ambience, Millennium, let me admit, explores themes similar to Ballard's earlier story. Let's not talk about this. See the word dystopian. What does dystopian means? I'll tell you about this. Before then this, let's see the setting. What type of condition exists over there, is over there, that means. The story is set in the future, as I said earlier. This is the characteristics of science fiction, sci-fi, where the world is becoming increasingly overpopulated with a population around 20 billion, right? So it's called millennium. Around 20 billion people will be there in the earth. And this situation is, imagine when there will be too much population, but we nowadays can hear that population in some of the countries is decreasing because of various reasons, right? So it was written earlier, that's why it has imagined condition where there will be explosion of population. So most of its inhabitants live in a crowded central city in order to preserve as much outside as possible for farming. And as a result, the world does not have a food problem nor war, since all governments devote themselves to decreasing the problem caused by overpopulation, right? The character in this story, they live in city area, like in apartments, right? And their intention is to save land for cultivation. And there is no war also. And government also has the same policy. See the situation. Let's see another context, how they are living in the city area. In the city inhabited by two protagonists, two heroes. Characters are John Ward and Henry Rossiter. These are two characters, John Ward and Henry Rosita. They are protagonist, main character, central character. And there is a mass shortage of space because of overpopulation. And people live in small cellular rooms. Cellular rooms means very small cupboard-like room where they are charged by ceiling space, right? They have to pay rent on the basis of measurement of ceiling. And the legal maximum decreasing to 3.5 square meter per person. Look at here. For a person, 38 square feet is allowed, not more than that, because there is no space. So in this sense also it is hypothetical. John Ward and Henry Rosita, they are protagonists and they live together. And according to the legal provision of the government, a person is allowed to consume 38 square feet only, as there is scarcity of land space in the earth because of overpopulation. So look at here, another context. The city areas, the city streets are enormously crowded, resulting in occasional pedestrian congestion. Pedestrians mean that person who walk in street. Congestion, jam, that lasts days at a time. And most old and historical buildings have taken down, means demolished, to make way for new battery homes or divided into hundreds of small cubicles, right? There are no historical buildings because there is no space. So to make more cubicles, cubicle means small room here, right? You can say quarter also. You might have imagined the situation. I talk about the word one. You know the idea of millennium, right? 20 million, about 20 million people. The explosion of population, overcrowd, and noise, no space. That comes in your mind when millennium is said. So another main idea the writer wants to express over here is dystopian. Dystopian in the sense that you can see the picture, look at here. In the first picture, only wrecks are there, very old, rusted buildings are there. In the second picture, you can see, right, the withered situation, polluted city, no leaves on the branch of boughs of trees, the deserted condition. You can perceive, you can see. Let's go to the theme in the first bullet point. Ballard is one of the best known writers of science fiction, in which he described dystopian world that is marred by the destruction and disaster. You might have heard acid rain. You might have heard different types of things. For example, desertification, right? And many other, because of overpopulation. And so is the case with global warming, right? We are suffering from global warming also, ozone layer depletion also, right? These all are the consequences of overpopulation. So the theme, the central theme of this story is dystopian society, world or cities, where the condition of environment is really adverse for human being. The next point over here, as we talk about dystopian situation, and this could be created by overpopulation and power and loss of privacy also. Nowadays also, for example, we are conversing right now, people from elsewhere can record our thing, our private conversation, even in telephone, right, in this type of virtual medium. And wherever we go, we are under the surveillance of CCTV camera, right? So nothing in this society is secret. No privacy at all right now. Everywhere there will be surveillance of the powerful nation, powerful people or authority, etc. So this is the next issue raised over here. And in the society that exists sometime in future, overpopulation has swelled to the extent that space seem to have shrunk. No space at all. All available land is utilized to feed the billions, and space to live on is rationed to the extent that an individual is permitted to occupy only 38 square feet of space, right? This is hypothetical, as I said earlier, right? People, they have to save land for force, and there will be limitation like 38 square feet for a person. So this is the theme. Theme means dystopian theme. Dystopian condition is created by overpopulation, power, and loss of privacy. So you can imagine what will happen in the story. This is the main thing mentioned here. So is it relevant in our context right now, or the title is justifiable or not? This is what is written here. The story describes a situation when the population of the world has grown to the extent there is no place for people to live normal life. Even right now we are feeling somehow suffocated, right? We don't have enough space. We have only 2-3 rooms in our house, and we all adjust that. Or some people, they have only one room also. Whole family is living in a single room. So there is a type of suffocation. That means the space that each person can occupy is regulated by the city council, like our municipality, right, or so on. So millennium refer to the time far into the future when population and not war is a threat human race faces, right? It will be more devastating. Overpopulation will be more devastating in future than war itself, because there won't be land for cultivation, there won't be place for shelter, right? And that's why they have to compromise badly, severely. That would be, or that could be the hypothetical situation in near future. But as I said earlier, only in developing country or underdeveloped country there is problem of overpopulation. But developed country, there is what no such trend right now. So let's see the plot. I'll tell everything over here what will happen, as you have somehow imagine the condition over there. Here the one main character, Ward, lives in a future dystopian society, dystopian, with his close friend Rosita. It means they live together, or they will live, it means, you can say, as it is hypothetical, in dystopian society. After being kicked out of their homes, maybe the lack of flesh or something like that, they were kicked out from their homes, and maybe they grew up also. They decide to move in together so they could have space and split the payments. So they went to the city for living together, and they decided to live together because they could share the house rent, for example. Here, to split the payment means they could share their rent together. So the story revolves around Ward and Rosita's combined discovery of a secret larger than average room adjacent to their rented cubicle. It means they went to the town, they rented a cubicle. Cubicle means room. But one day, there were many cubicles in that apartment. But fortunately, they found one spare vacant room adjacent to their own room. That means nearby their own room. So this is mildly important, as they have never been in a room where there were no people. It means they were surprised also, because to find a vacant room or room without people was strange because there was severe scarcity of room, space at the time. So they were startled. They were surprised. These two people, that means Ward and Rosita, they were surprised. As the two bars in the extra personal space they have never known, things became complicated when they allowed two other close friends to share the space. It means gradually, when they got extra room, a type of thing haunt in their mind. That means they thought of earning money by sharing the room. So they rented that room which they got suddenly, unexpectedly, with their two of their close friends. For a while they used that room, but a strange thing haunted their mind. They made a plan of earning money because that was the city. And you know, people of city area, they are money minded. That's why these two characters also thought of earning money when they suddenly got a spare or back-end room nearby them. And they rented that room to their two close friends. But what happened then? It ensured a snowball effect of their invitee bringing family to live in the room. It means when these two friends got that room for rent, then they also invited their own relative because there was no space. They also thought of sharing the same room with relative. And you can see the situation. That small room was shared by whole family of their two friends, and the thing became complicated. That means snowball effect means one call another and another call another and another call another. That means there were a huge crowd. That means, and in the end, what happened? The luxurious space became to be the same type of crowded cubicle that they were trying to escape from in the first place, right? At first place there was crowd, that's why they left the place and they came to this place. And when they rented the room or they gave that room to their two of their friends, they also invited their family, and this place also became too much crowded, and they were worried because the place became too much crowded like the previous one where they used to live in the past. So what became the landlord when there are so many people? So as I said earlier, they rented that room and they became landlord, especially Ward. He pretended to be a landlord, right? And he has always hated landlords and thinks that they are greedy and rude. But when he was suppressed, when he was dominated by landlords or Garpeti, he hated such type of landlords because he did not used to get all the freedom, all the facility he expected. That's why he hated such type of landlords earlier. But what happened? When he got chance, he also became the same type of oppressive and dominating landlord. You know that. It also shows that the nature of human being. When human being, they get chance, they will be the masters of other. They pretend as if they are everything. So similarly, this character Ward was victim of suppressive dominating landlord in the past became the similar type of landlord later. This is a situation. He became greedy also. He became rude also. Rude toward the invitee or resident in the house. That means rented people. That means. So he slowly start to become what he always hated. That is the condition. So it is the plot over here, main thematic story. Let's try to analyze these two characters only. There are secondary character, but these are main. John Ward, you can guess how he is. I recently said that he was dominated by landlord, but when he got chance, when he found spare or back end room, he became hero, master, landlord. Not only landlord, rude, dominating landlord. So let's see whatever is written here. Ward is the middle-aged protagonist of Millennium. He works as a librarian and shares the living space with Henry Rossiter. He is passive compared to Rossiter. Ward is more sensitive to beauty and is more disturbed when Victorian wardrobe is destroyed to make more space. See here, this Ward, he was lazy also, but he was sensitive to beauty. And in their room, there was one wardrobe. It was ancient wardrobe, and he did not want to break, but finally for space, they broke that cupboard, but he became very sad, right? So he despises the greedy landlord who reduced the size of cubicle so that there is no space for him to walk without stumbling. But by the end, he becomes a usurious landlord himself when he finds the empty room. Means landlord, they generally rent their all of the room for other, and it is difficult to even walk, even move in the house. And he hated the thing. But later on, when he became landlord, when he found the room, he showed the same nature. So you can imagine his nature. He could use that spare back end room himself. Instead, what he did, he gave it to other people, to friends, for rent. That's why his nature is beauty sensitive, but greedy also. So Henry Rossiter, Rossiter is very different from Wardorf, though they were close friends. And it is believed that generally not like-minded, opposite-minded peoples they become friends, in my opinion. Right? People say like-minded, but I think opposite-minded because one can compromise with another. So the same thing happened here, right? They were of different character, nature. He's more aggressive in his approach and persuade Ward to let their girlfriend into the spare room. This is a disastrous move as the girl brings in their families to buy and buy, right? So aggressive. And so because of Rossiter, right, they gave room to their friends. But because of Rossiter's lack of farsightedness, the worst thing happened there. So Rossiter is not sensitive to beauty and sacrifice the one thing that symbolizes beauty in their life, the Victorian wardrobe. Victorian is like Mulla is in our country, right? That era was era of art in West. So here is mentioned Victorian wardrobe. So Rossiter, he is not sensitive. That's why for a space, she is also business minded. You can see here. He asked his friend Ward to give that room or rent, right? So again, let's talk about summary once again. Then you can come to the point conclusion. The story is set in the distant future, not right now, coming future, maybe hundreds to 100 years later. The millennium suggests and nearly 20 million people are squashed into a city, putting tremendously pressure on space. The city council has restricted the space an individual can occupy to a mere 38 square feet. And John and Henry, are the friends who are leaving the space. You can see the situation, government restriction, the condition, and the number of people, 20 billion people, they are living in a city. What could be the situation? You can see there won't be any space for even food. So they are living in the city. They are both employed but find it hard to get by in the crowd city where pedestrian traffic jam can last for days with no one being able to move due to congestion. See the situation. Even the cities, even the pedestrian people who walk on foot cannot move for many days, right? Because there are 20 billion people. You imagine the 20 billion people in Kathmandu. What would happen? If they together come out of their house, nobody can move. Everything will stuck in jam. So while knocking about their cubicle room, what discovers a forgotten room adjacent to their cubicle, right? It means nearby their room, they suddenly discover a room which was not used by people. So they exult in this new space, thrilled also, right? They went there and they became happy, thrilled, as they have never known so much space. They have never seen also, because even street there was no place to travel, walk. So you can imagine the situation, right? So they were amazed, they were surprised, alone with the situation they saw, the cubicle nearby them. So they buy a Victorian wardrobe, which is the only thing of beauty in their travel living area. So when they got a spare room, they bought wardrobe also, cupboard, you can say. But what happened? The greed gradually began to rule them. Soon, Rosita has an idea of inviting their girlfriend to share the extra room with them, right? The greed, you can see. Gradually, for example, first of all, we have a greed of what? Eating, wearing clothes, then we need motorbike, then we need car, then we need big house, and then we need different cars, right? And so many other. It keeps on coming, keeps on haunting our mind. The same thing happened to them, right? When they found a spare room, they thought of buying one beautiful cupboard, wardrobe. They bought it, right? But later, the next idea haunted Rosita's mind, and they thought of inviting their friends to share the room, and they could earn money also from them. That's why they did this. And finally, the girls in turn, what did they do? They asked their family to move in and take the advantage of space. There was no space. That's why those girls who got room in rent also invited their family, and the room, the cubicle became congested. So Ward, who had hated the greedy landlord, soon became a landlord himself. As I said earlier also, right? When gradually, when we get hold of power, property, and such type of thing, we change our nature. We can be transferred from human being to devils and such type of thing. Because always, for example, our beauty, our physical power, our political power, right, our bad knowledge, these things lead us toward evil idea, evil move. The same thing happened here as well, right? Especially Ward, who was lazy, but he was fond of beauty, became a aggressive landlord, dominating landlord. So with making money, taking precedence over enjoying their new room, it means precedency. We learn from our ancestor. For example, when you will be teacher, you will have impact of me also, your other teacher also, you have impact of your parents also, your relatives also, friends also. So when he recalled the attributes, activity of previous landlord, he became the same thing which he hated earlier in the past. I'm talking about Ward, John Ward, right? So in order to make more space, Ward and Register break up the beautiful wardrobe, and the story ends here. It means to break down that wardrobe that was symbol of Victorian art is the even symbol for this crowded earth. You can see many temples in Kathmandu, but gradually they are diminishing, decreasing, because in the name of development, as the crowd is increasing, if population is increasing, what we do is we demolish that, we destroy that, we extend our roads. And the same thing happened here. It is the end of end of the beauty of the earth, when there will be explosion of population, right? So I'm not going to talk about language. You can, this is a satirical one somehow. So what is the conclusion? As I said earlier, breaking down the cupboard or wardrobe they bought symbolizes the breaking down the beauty of earth because of overpopulation. So what is here? Look at here. The wardrobe is more than just a wardrobe. It is not wardrobe at all. It is symbolic use. That means it's stand for beauty and freedom, right? As they invited people and to rent that room, they even broke down that wardrobe. See the materialistic concept in the people, in the minds of people. So when it was eaten and what destroyed the wardrobe, they are destroying the last traces of beauty from their lives. The word cubicles appears several times in the story, and it is used as a synonym for room, but very congested, very small, that means. And the word always symbolizes the lack of personal space and lack of control over their lives. When we live in congested area, there won't be any matter of any significance of our privacy, our freedom, etc. So it also signifies that because of our population, there was no freedom. There was no space. So even if they wanted to, they would be able to move more spacious accommodation, right? There was no space, so there was no chance of moving into the spacious accommodation, spacious house for Devali, because there were more than or about 20 billion people. And even in the road, there was congestion, jam, traffic jam, human jam, whatever you call, it was there, the situation. So it was really suffocating situation because of explosion of increment of population. So it is in this sense hypothetical story. And as I said, science fiction, sci-fi, it, what does it do? It forecasts what could be the situation in near future. Okay, I have come to the end of this my class. If you have any question, now the floor is open. मैले फ्लोर ओपन गरेँ, कसैले के बुझेन है, you can ask me.